how long is it going to take? And then I think about, well, how long it's probably built up over the years too. So.
Absolutely, man. It came to a head for a lot of us in our recent relationship or relationships and things.
Yeah.
But, it's a progression, right? It's the culmination of years and years and years of not sitting with ourselves, not releasing the stuff that we're carrying, not developing that self-love, avoiding the pain within ourselves, and using other people and situations, goals, emotional addictions, all sorts of things, using those to build ourselves up or to enhance our identity. And then, we find that that's a very, very unstable way to be, because we become dependent on all these things and people. And, like everything in life, change is constant. Movement is constant. If you're not moving, growing, changing, you're atrophying. You don't want to do that either. So we can expect change. That's just going to happen. But when we've made our identity so solid and dependent on things and situations and people, none of which are within our control, we're setting ourselves up for pain and suffering and a real eye-opening awakening at some point, as we all know.
Yeah, and not just it, you can almost create an entire life around avoiding some of those things. Like you mentioned, achievements, relationships, distractions, whatever they may be. I mean, a lot of that stuff is they're just distractions from shit that we don't want to deal with.
I want to tell a little story that reminds me of this. And it illustrates this principle very well. So I'll do my best to recall it, and I'm not going to take a whole lot of time with this, but just to give us all, some reminding of this, some remembrance of how neurotic and how maladaptive these strategies that we use to avoid ourselves and to avoid the pain and to not face and deal with and overcome these inner challenges. We all use these strategies, right? For some of us, it's if I become successful enough, then I don't have to worry about the fact that deep, deep, deep inside I feel shitty, because I'll never have to look at that. I can fill up my time and energy with people and relationships, things, people that want and need me for stuff. Oh man, this will be perfect. Don't have to ever deal with any of that. As we all know, that's certainly not the way of mastery. And so it's kind of like this person who was out in their woods and they were, just having a little nice walk through the woods, and all of a sudden, they brushed up against a thorn bush, and this giant thorn just jabbed right into their skin, and I mean deep. That sucker went in there and lodged itself. Big one, And I mean, it's in there into the meat. It's down into the muscle tissue. It's really bad. And, it's causing them tremendous pain. They immediately go inside. They're looking at it. Oh my God, what am I going to do? And their partner comes up and is like, oh, well, let me help you with that. I think we got to remove it. They're like, no, don't touch it. 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 That hurts. That hurts. Well, we got to get it treated. Well, this person says, no, I don't want to treat this. It hurts too bad. I don't even want to look at it, matter of fact. So they cover it up with this giant bandage that they fashion that also keeps it away, keeps the bandage away from it creates space in there. So it's not actually touching anything. And then they're just wearing this thing, right? And they start to just go through their life. And yeah, it still kind of hurts, but they're not having to see it. And as long as it doesn't really bump up against anything, they're kind of okay, right? But after a while, the thing starts to fester, and then it starts to rot, and it starts to smell. And then the people are like, oh my God, what the hell fuck is that? That's disgusting. Like, oh wow, no, that's bad. I know what that is. That's this wound I have going on, but but it's so painful. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to deal with it. So let me just get some perfume, and and I'll just cover myself in patchouli and fucking incense and everything else. And we just want to deal with that. You get where I'm going with this, guys?
I do. Hey, if you don't mind, anybody that's not talking, if they got some background noise, if you don't mind going on mute, is a little bit distracting. Thanks. Yeah, no, I totally get that. Sometimes it's just not knowing exactly how to get that thorn out, though. You know.
Well, that is the freaking key, man. That is it. Because almost all of us, if we knew how to do it and we knew that we could do it, we would do it.
Yep.
Imagine that, you know, you had a skill that you had seen someone learn and develop and master, and they could teach it to you, but it would take you a year to master it. I mean, a year of dedication and mastery. But what you would be able to do after this, after developing this skill, would be to completely revolutionize who you are, to make any change within yourself that you wanted to, like that, and to really demonstrate the creative capacity within you and live your dreams every day from moment to moment, and be completely and utterly, absolutely content and ecstatic with joy at the life you're living every single day. But it's going to take you a year of dedication. You're going to have to go through some shit, and it's not going to be easy. And you have to do it every day. You have to commit, you have to discipline, and there's no excuses. And whatever you face, you're just going to have to face. But once you face it, after that year is over, you will be free, and you will be in command of your own destiny. Now, the sad truth is that most people, even if you tell them that, they won't even ask the major question.
Yeah, how do we do that?
How the fuck do we do it? Where do I sign? They won't even do that because they'll say, well, what about this? Well, what about that? Yeah, but I don't know. And yeah, and I've got all these things, and I got addictions, and I got past history, and oh man, you know, and I'm just kind of depressed, and you know, well, I don't want to go through all that work. I'll probably find a new girl in a couple weeks, and I'll feel better, and I'll forget all about this shit. That's the sad truth of it, fellas. It really is. I mean, I was just having a conversation with somebody just like that.
Yeah, so I'm not in that group. I'm with you.
No, I know you ain't. I don't think anyone on this call is either, but go ahead.
And I can tell because there was a time there during this recovery for me after the ex left it. I felt like I was flying, and I was really doing the dating apps, and I was getting some hits there and there, and I was going on some dates again. But over time, that interest that I have in that has kind of faded a bit, and I'm realizing for the first time that I just know, I can feel that that's not the answer. You know, it's almost like, you know, I'm not where I want to be yet in order to attract the kind of matches that I'm really looking for. I can just feel it. I can tell.
Well, I'm glad that you're looking at that, you know, and thinking that and feeling like, okay, there's some things that I need to ready myself. I want to say a couple things about that too. And this just, you know, this is just my own personal opinion. I know a lot of people have had success. I know some people who are in happy relationships, who are about to have a kid, who met on a dating app. But in my personal opinion, probably like 85% of the people on dating apps, maybe more, are shallow and or insecure people who are looking for love. And, you know, realistically, when we awaken our own attractiveness, we don't need to date. It's just it's a false premise to think that you have to go dating to find somebody. You don't. Attraction is really where you guys want to be at. And that's what this, you know, that's what Ed's company is, Genuine Attraction. That's the reason why he named it that. It's powerful. It's not about searching, seeking, getting, wanting, needing, trying. It's really about creating and attracting and resonating in that attractiveness. And the thing that you must do, all of us must do this, if we want this to work, is we need to get within ourselves and develop the natural, innate feeling of well-being, wholeness, completion, self-love. And we need to feel so in love with our own lives and where we are right here and now that we don't have any time to dedicate to worrying about who's coming. We know that's coming. We know it's coming. We don't care when. It's totally inconsequential because we feel our connection to it. And that's what's the most important. It's just like when we're in a loving relationship and your partner's away, you still feel your love, you still feel your connection. They don't need to be right in your presence. So this is the same way. They don't need to be right here and now for you to connect with them and know that you're drawing them towards you, and it's effortless, and you don't have to think about that. So you put that to rest, and you get to focus on what's really important in your life, which is your vision.
Yeah.
And that is a totally different way to live and be. So when we're resonating in that attractiveness, when we know we're complete and we know we're drawing that love to us, but we're not even thinking about it and worried about it. We're going to bed, we're sleeping well. We're waking up refreshed. We're not jumping onto that same pattern of, oh man, how am I gonna do this? Am I doing enough? Am I good enough? Am I demonstrating enough? How am I gonna find that person? Oh man, what if I go through another year and I'm single still? This is gonna suck. Oh, and I got that big, engagement party coming up and I don't want to go there single. This is going to suck. And if we're fucking thinking like that, man, you know what's going to happen? If you do manage to find somebody, she's going to be just as insecure and needy as you are. And that's going to create problems down the road. So we don't want that. We want to attract somebody who's a fucking amazing fit, who resonates with us where we're at. And in order to do that, we need to be at a high level, and we need to be 100% good with ourselves right here now. No neediness. Now, in order to get there, how do we do it? Because I think you guys are all on board with the fact that that's what we need to do. I mean, if you want to master this thing, there's many other ways to do relationships, right? But if you want to master yourself, this is the way. If you really want to attract someone, this is how you do it. If you want to learn attraction and feel what attraction is and learn to reside in that and magnetize your life to attract what you want, this is what you have to do. We have to go in. We have to release these negative emotions. We have to also catch those mental patterns when they start. We need to become highly aware. Ah, there it goes again. Yep, there's that part of me that's going, oh, you're a loser. It's never going to work. Never going to work. And if you fight with that part or argue with it, you're just involved in it. So we just have to remain highly alert and say, nope, no, I'm not going to go down that trail again. And so what do I need to do? Well, first of all, I'm in my head. I got to recognize that. So I'm thinking like this. I'm in my head. I'm in the past or I'm in the future. One of the two. I'm not present. You guys with me on this?
Yep.
So once you catch yourself, if you notice at all you're in anxiety or suffering, the only way to do it is to be in the past or in the future. You're worrying about something that's going to happen, or you're lamenting about what's been happening and thinking it's going to repeat, which it is. It's going to repeat. In fact, you may as well just take your whole past and just pick it up and stamp it on your future, because you're going to fucking repeat the same misery unless we handle this stuff. Because we think the same way, we feel the same way, we make the same choices, we make the same decisions. If we're full of resentment, we're acting on that. We're attracting that back to us. If we're filled with fear and guilt and anxiety, we're attracting that back to us. And there's no way around this. It's the law. The only way to get around it is to try to strategize. And we already talked about that. It doesn't work. You end up festering your wounds and rotting, and nobody wants to be around you, including yourself. So at that point, you got to recognize, I'm in my head, I'm in the past, I'm in the future. Let's put the brakes on. Bring it back to center, bring it back to the heart. I'm feeling something inside that's causing me to think this way. I'm feeling lack, I'm feeling needy, I'm feeling insecure. Locate that feeling. And go deeper. What's underneath of that? Not mentally, but physically sense what's deeper than that and go into it, open to it. Because we've been holding on, trying to keep it controlled. But what happens when you just go deeper and allow it? Become aware of the space inside of it, that emptiness. Just like there's, 99.999% emptiness in every atom. So therefore, almost everything in this manifest reality is emptiness, but we're so focused on objects and things and people, what we want, and our feelings. We're so focused and identified with all that stuff, it's keeping us stuck. So just becoming aware of the space, the infinite emptiness, which is alive. This can help shift our attention off of the problem and not away from it, just off of being identified and stuck to it, and create some space around it so that it can move, so that energy can start to move and release. And anytime we're doing this too, guys, this is self-love. This is tremendous self-love. So give yourself some appreciation from the heart to your entire being for taking some time to spend with yourself and do this. It's so important. And you guys, for anyone who hasn't been doing this for very long or is new, or is, still struggling, right? Know that if you stick with this long enough, and I promise you this from my own direct experience, absolutely no bullshit, and anyone who makes this commitment, I'm here for you. If you do this, you will get to a point where the meditations are so powerful to you and so richly rewarding, energizing, enlivening, and fulfilling that you will never miss them. You will look forward to them constantly because they will be the most real thing in your life. The place where you go inside and you really connect to yourself and you just reside and immerse yourself in love and peace as you allow for the time and place for all the garbage to unwind and release. I'm telling you, you're going to grow to just be so amazed by this and so grateful that you have this capacity within you.
I still feel like, and I've been trying to do this for a while. I want to be confident in the sense that I know what I'm doing when I'm trying to let go. So, like I told you separately, that I feel a lot of tension in my solar plexus, like right below my sternum, right, in the pit of the gut, kind of like that feeling you get when you know that you're going to be either broken up with or something bad has just happened, or, I had another example, but you know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah, you just saw your woman kissing some dude.
Yeah,
That was
I've never seen that,
but you can imagine it.
that would come up. That would certainly be.
That would be the feeling that would come up, right?
Yes, yes. So I have that feeling quite a bit. I notice whenever these things come up. So typically, what I do is I sit with that feeling and I just try to allow it to be there the best I can. And there have been times where it's run its course and it kind of goes away. And I've even, and this may or not be good, but I'll like think of, I'll go back to a thought that brings that back up. I'm gonna sit with it more. So like, I don't know if that's what we're supposed to be doing or not, but I'm like so fucking determined to allow this thing to escape and get and be done with it, you know?
Yes. So there is a subtle double-edged sword with that. And it's just subtle. You just have to be aware of it within yourself because, you know, I'm with you, man. Like when I went through my last breakup, I was like, hell no, I'm not going through. I've already done this. Yeah, I already know the program and the steps to take and do that and all the stuff. And, you know, yeah, last time it only took me 6 months or whatever. I ain't going through that shit again. I'm getting through this pain in days, not weeks, not months. I'm getting through it in days. And that's when I determined to go within with the assistance of the psilocybin and be able to dive in and face it for those intense few hours. So I know you've got that coming up. So keep that in mind. It's a tremendous accelerator, my brother. I cannot overstate that. And you're going to go extremely deep. When you wake up the next morning, you're going to be reborn. However, in the meantime, the double-edged sword piece of it is that by wanting it so badly, we can actually short circuit that process. Because remember, anytime we're wanting something, wanting it so bad, right, we're creating resistance within us. We're also feeling and resonating in that energy signature of, I don't have it yet. I want it. I want it so bad. I want it. Now, this works when you're trying to, you know, eke out that last yard in the football game. You give it every fucking thing you got and all of your energy you put into it. However, it doesn't work when we're entering into the subtle body. It takes a little more subtlety and, you know, grace than that. We can't just bull our way through to get in there. So it's balancing that to some degree. And it's also developing the skill. So every time you're doing it, you're learning a little bit more about yourself and you're getting better about at this on some level. Even if it doesn't feel like you move the needle much, spend time within yourself. It becomes more and more natural. And then you start to really separate out what you are as awareness from what you are as the ego trying to get something. Even if the ego is a spiritual ego or a healthy ego trying to get a good result for you by doing these actions, it's still that's not the way. It doesn't work because you as an ego can't go in to your pain that deeply. You cannot do it. No matter how hard you try. None of us can. We can only go in as consciousness, as awareness. And for that, we need to leave the ego behind, which is why I always talk about unhooking. We got to unhook from the level of thinking mind and drop inside. You have to be out of your mind, out of thought. And you know it when you're there. There's no mistaking it. When you go from this level, everything starts to unwind on its own and you feel it and it's effortless. So you don't need to release. And this is what I'm trying to impress upon you guys too. You don't release it. Ego thinks it releases shit and it's not. It's not that way. It's not the way the ego tries to co-opt releasing for its own desires and means. Oh, if I release this, I can get everything I want. Yes. Okay. How do I release it? How do I release it? How do I release it? And it's wanting, 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 wanting. It doesn't work. Even if it's for your own good, it doesn't work. What's needed is awareness, dropping, presence, consciousness, not allowing the mind to go to the future, not allowing it to go to the past, staying present with the feeling, being with it, immersing in it, becoming aware of the space within it and the space surrounding it, becoming aware from that space, not thinking about it, not looking at it, being in it, being aware from within it. So let's take a few minutes to enter that space. And everyone just allow yourself to become aware of your body from within. Put your awareness all the way down in your right heel for a moment. Feel the heel, feel the Achilles. Now put your awareness behind your left knee. Just behind there in space. Become aware of the space behind your left knee. And feel that space. And then become aware of the space between your ears. Feel that space. Sense it. And become aware of its volume by feeling and sensing the space. Now become aware of the space surrounding your entire head. And just go all the way to the depths and see if there's any boundary to that space. Feel your awareness expand to become aware of the space surrounding your entire body and below your feet. Feel the energy in the space. Sense it pulsing and expanding. And now feel the space behind your solar plexus. Just become aware of the volume of the space there. Feel its energy. Now move your awareness to be aware of in front of your Adam's apple, the space in front of your throat. And then drop awareness down to be aware of the space between your thighs. And feel that vast space between your thighs. Feel the volume of it and the energy and aliveness there. Sense if you can feel any boundary to your body or to your auric field, and then become aware of the space beyond that boundary. Just let awareness fill that entire space. And now from that space, become aware of the space behind and just below your belly button or your navel. Feel the space there and its volume. Feel how much space is there. Feel the energy in that area, moving, expanding. And now move awareness to the lower spine. Become aware of the space surrounding your lower spine. Just those last 5 or 6 vertebrae, including your tailbone. Just feel the space around it. Become aware of its volume. Feel into it and sense it. If you notice anywhere that's holding on, now just allow awareness to go right inside and become aware of the space within whatever's holding on. Now, there may be tension and things, but just shift your awareness to the space. So just like there's the room that you're in or wherever your environment is, there's that physical piece to it, but then there's the space in which it's resting, in which it appears, that empty space. So just be aware of the empty space within the holding on and feel the volume of it inside. Become intimate with it. Notice the space is not holding on to anything. That space is already free, connected. It's not separate. Check for yourself, investigate. Is space separate from anything? So let's just go into this infinite, empty nothingness that we're calling space. It's not separate from anything. It exists everywhere, here and now, and in all places. It's fully connected, fully alive, conscious, containing everything but holding nothing. And as best you can, just for a few more moments, allow that space to be completely as it is. Sinking into it, immersing your entire being within it. And now bless that space with your own love coming from your own heart. And just naturally and effortlessly, just with a subtle intention, allow your heart to open and flood that entire space till you can feel it inside and out and everywhere. And just do that as best you can. No pressure to get it right or be good enough. Just allow whatever comes up to come up. And thank yourself again for taking some time to do this. Whenever you're ready, you can allow your awareness to come back to the present, to here and now, to allow your eyes to open and to be here on the call. So is that helpful?
Definitely feel centered.
That's good. And then we're just repeating it and going deeper each time. So we train to remain in the center. So does anyone else have anything specific that they would like to either share as a gain or ask for assistance with, or question about anything we've talked about tonight or about releasing in general? Floor's open. We have about 15 minutes left, and I'll do my best to answer that for you and then go.
Hi, I'm Tim. I'm new. So the let it go technique is, as I understand, you are the guru. So that was what originally got me here. Was just, I don't know, I sort of figuring out what to let go and what not to. Obviously when I have sort of what you were thinking, what you talked about earlier about my ex being with another man, that brings up a feeling. It's very easy to identify and it's very easy to let go. Some of the areas that I go is I'm still going through the divorce. So I have, part of what I do is I just think about and almost have conversations in my head about what might go on with the proceedings or with if there's going to be depositions and things that I might say and things like that. Are those thoughts that are still okay to have, or is that something I should be trying to let go as well?
Yeah, so trying to let go, not so much, but I will say that that's for the most part a great waste of your energy and focus. Yeah, so what I mean by that is when we're trying to let go of things, what happens when we're trying anything, right? We're not really feeling confident. We're not really feeling like we're doing it or we know how to do it. And so it creates resistance. It creates, confusion and pushback within ourselves. So it's important to just have the correct skill so we can understand the releasing process. And also what I was pointing to a little bit on this call, and I know a lot of this is new to you, so we'll just kind of like give you a little preview to this, is that most of the work, the way that I do it, Tim, is releasing by proxy. It's doing things with your consciousness, with your awareness, becoming aware of certain things in a certain type of way that allows for releasing to happen spontaneously. Because if it's me trying to release, I'm struggling and battling with myself. And I'm only going to get so far. And so that's what I kind of meant as an ego. If I'm trying to release, like, I really don't want to feel like shit anymore. I hate myself. How do I stop this? And I'm trying to force it. Well, I'm going to be more confident. I'm going to just go out. I'm going to be more confident. I'll fake it till I make it or whatever. But this isn't natural confidence. It's not what you actually want. It's not what I actually want in this scenario, right? What I want to do is actually just drop that feeling of feeling like shit and then feel into this deeper feeling within me, which is a natural well-being. And as I start to feel that, and as those other things drop away and I shed that stuff, that's what real confidence is. That's the beginning of confidence. Then you have a vision. You know where you're going, and you know you have the capacity to get there. And the world is supporting, the universe is supporting you, and there's a power within you which is driving the whole thing, and you don't even have to do it. That's real confidence. So in order to get there, though, we need to let it go. We need to release it. We need to release the things that are holding it back. And so here's a couple things for you to be aware of. When the mind starts looping about this and trying to predict the future, okay, and trying to control a predicted future, you're acting from a very limited space. And your focus is narrowed, and you are in fight or flight survival mode. So if you're being chased by bear out in the woods, this is a good time to be in that state. It's not a time to sit and meditate and open your heart, and accept the bear as it is, right? But because that's when you're actually in a survival situation, fight or flight. But right now you're not in a survival situation. It's time to actually open your mind, open your heart, open your perspective, sit, allow all this garbage to unwind and release and drop away so that you can start to see the clearer picture. And from that, you'll be connecting with that power within you, which knows the way, which knows the vision, and which knows that you are capable of getting there because it's your own power. It's the one it's actually going to drive the whole show. So we're releasing that. We're unleashing it. And if we're in thought, if we're neurotically trying to control the future, or if we're in the past, lamenting about the past, reliving those negative emotions, suffering over and over again, we ain't going to get there. It's impossible. We literally cannot create from this level when we're mind identified and trying to control the future or stuck in the past. So what you'll do is anytime you catch that happening, it's going to happen a lot. It's a pattern. It's been built up. So anytime that happens, just, oh, there it is again. And you can sit and breathe and be with the feelings. And as best you can, what you want to do is not be up here in the mind thinking about it and not like, okay, well, I'm not going to try to control it. Well, then what do I do with it? You know, it's still there. So what you got to do is get out of there, get into the body. So that's one thing you can let go of. You can let go of your grip on the thinking mind and relax that space, settle into the body, settle into the emotions, but you're going to settle into them from a place of high awareness, not as a victim, but as an explorer, an adventurer who knows that he's got to go through hell to get to where he wants to be. But he's going to get there. Absolutely. You're going to get there. I guarantee it. It's going to suck at times. But when you do get there, you'll realize it was all worth it. And you will thank her and everything that you've been through because it's made you who you are today. So I don't know if that fully answers your question.
I think, like I said, I'm new, so I have a lot to learn. So I think just keep showing up and keep trying to be better every day. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
That's right, man. That's great. And that's a good attitude. And for being new, that's actually a very high quality question. So I'm glad you brought that up. What do I release? So here's a couple things too, just to put it into like these broad categories that you can really be aware of. Remember what I was saying in the beginning of the call, anytime we're wanting, we are in a state of lack, which means we're in survival mode. Think about that, guys. You cannot create the future that you want with ease and effortlessness and joy from a power that's deep within you, that knows the way, that's enlivening your every step. You cannot do that if you're in survival mode. It doesn't work. Because everything you're resonating is, this world is a dangerous place. I'm separate from everyone and everything. I got to scrounge and fight for what I want. So if that's the way you think, then the world is going to reflect that. So what's needed, right? We can be aware of some of these deep patterns of wanting, and that can be an alarm bell, trigger. Oh, damn, I feel like shit. I'm wanting. I want to control the future, which I can't control, and that's making me sick right now. So, awareness. Awareness is the key. If you catch yourself in wanting, whether it's wanting control, these are some big ones, wanting security, wanting safety, right? Safety and security, survival mode, right? Wanting approval from the group, from the pack, from the tribe. Remember back in the day, not having the tribe's approval meant death. You were shunned back in the day, you're dead on your own out in this world. So there is a high degree of need for survival in approval seeking. So we act on these wants and these desires, and we're coming from this place of need and lack, and so the world is going to reflect this back. And so we're acting out of survival mode, panic mode. We're not in touch with our true power. So wanting approval, wanting control, wanting security, wanting separation. Get away. Can't take this. Run, run. Yeah. Again, these are all fight or flight emotions. And these are deep ones, deep programs. I'm not good enough. Where's that coming from? You want approval. You want love. Deep programs. So those are things that you can be aware of. And anytime you catch them, a feeling comes up. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. Well, ask yourself, what am I wanting here? Am I wanting control? Yes, I'm wanting control. That's in the future. Can I control the future? No. Damn. And trying to do so is making me sick and neurotic and anxious. I can prepare for the future, yes. But is this preparing for it? Is this neurotically going over the situation in my mind with a very narrow focus, looking for clues, but never really relaxing enough and opening my perspective enough to see anything that's going to be really helpful, and also making myself sick inside while I'm doing this? Like my entire state is a toxic, wasteland. It's producing chemicals that are making me stressed and making me sick and producing disease. So, okay. See, I'm doing that. Now I got to sit. I got to sit and meditate and release. So what do? First, like Mike was saying, just sit and allow it to be. Okay, allow the feeling, become aware of the feeling, become aware of any resisting the feeling or resisting the thought of whatever the mind is projecting. So you feel, oh, I don't want her to do that. I don't want this to happen. If this happens, then I'm fucked. Okay, feel that resistance. That's all stuff that you're projecting into an imaginary future, that you're actually increasing the likelihood of something like this happening by doing this. So instead, okay, I see that. I see that I'm doing that. And in the seeing, a lot of times releasing happens. Just seeing, do I want to hold on to misery and suffering? Oh, no. No, I don't actually want to do that, but that's definitely what I've been doing. And just in the self-recognition that we've been creating our own suffering in this way, a lot of times a release naturally happens. So I'll give you a couple more quick pointers before we end here, guys. And this is just very, very basic stuff that anyone can use at any time. First thing you can do if you find yourself holding on to something, you can just ask, can I let this go? And just check. Sometimes you could just let it go. Just didn't even realize that I was holding on to it or that I could let it go. And just in the simple asking the question, it can happen. Now, be honest with yourself, though. Maybe you can let go of a little bit of it. That's fine. So just say that. Can you let it go? Well, a little. I could let go of that much of it. All right, cool, no problem. I'm not trying to force you to let go of something that you're not ready to let go of. Just inviting the release to happen. So that's number one. Give an honest answer. It's yes, no, or a little bit, whichever one you're feeling. If it's yes, perfect. Nothing more needs to be done. Just watch for yourself, for your natural habit to cling to it again. Okay, because remember, we have built these habits up. So can I let it go? Yes. All right, awesome. Just remain open. Feel what that's like to remain open. Start to remember what this feels like so that you can experience it more and more regularly. Training. Train to remain. Second answer. A little bit. Well, let's start with that. I could let go of a little bit. Okay, well, that's good. You let go of a layer. That's awesome. Just don't pick it back up again. You're feeling a little bit more free. Check again, breathe a little bit, relax, make sure you're not forcing it, and check it again. Can I let go of just a little bit more? Maybe just like another layer or two. See, wow, okay. And actually that wasn't much more, but it felt a whole lot. I felt a whole lot of relief. So gently taking yourself down there. And then the last answer is no, I cannot let this go. Well, that's good. Good. You know why? Because you're real, because you're honest. You're not bullshitting me or yourself or anyone else. You're holding on to this pain and suffering. You may want to let it go, or you may not. You may not want to let go of the anger. Fuck that bitch. I'll never forgive her. That may be really how you feel in that moment. If it is, just admit it. No, I can't let it go. Because a lot of times, just in the admitting that you can't let it go, it lets go anyway. Because you're being real with yourself. And if it doesn't let go and you're still holding on and you've said no, and like I said, maybe you do want to let go, but you just don't have the ability yet, the capacity yet, that's okay. You'll get there in time. But if that's the case, no, I can't. I want to, but I can't. Then ask yourself, could I just let myself hold on? Just for now, just for a little bit, just let it. Just let the body hold on, whatever it's doing, just let it do its thing. Can you do that? Because you're already doing that. And if you can let yourself do it, you create a little bit of peace and space because now you're not fighting with yourself.
If I could say something, for me, it's guilt. For some reason, I try to let go of guilt. It's like the feeling will come up before even a memory comes up sometimes. So sometimes it's hard. Like if I pinpoint something specific, I can remember. But sometimes it's just a general feeling of guilt about just things that happened in the relationship. Nothing like, I guess if I could pull up a specific memory, I mean, I can. But, there were certain ways when she was pushing my buttons, I treated her in a way that I wouldn't normally treat a female, and I do feel guilty about that, even though she was being a royal fucking bitch. I responded in a way that was unlike my nature, and I do feel guilty about that, taking accountability for my own actions in that sense.
Well, taking accountability is one thing. Carrying guilt is completely unnecessary, and it's not helpful. And so,
yeah.
The thing is, you have developed a habit of carrying guilt, and your body is addicted to the chemicals that you're putting into it when you create those guilty feelings. So even though you don't like it, your body is going to continue to make you feel guilty. It's going to continue to do that by bringing up thoughts that trigger feelings, that make you remind yourself of the past and shortcomings, and you're going to skew them because the emotion is going to make you blow up certain aspects of it and reduce other ones. And this is just what keeps us stuck. So having awareness that this is going on is number one. Number two, recognizing this is a process, and we took years of building these habits up. It's going to take some time to unwind them. But yeah, if you're already well on the path, man, if you're recognizing that this is going on, it's no big surprise. Just re-recognize. And we got to go back into the laboratory and do some more work.
All right. You broke up just a little bit back there, but is this something that I can do by the letting go technique, or is this something a little deeper than that? I mean, what do you think?
It's all letting go. It's just this, what I usually work with is a bit more advanced and goes a bit deeper and tends to work a lot faster. But, the beginning stuff is like training wheels. It's very helpful because, when we're first jumping on the bike, we got to get our sea legs. We're not ready to go on the off-road BMX race just yet all the time.
Okay.
So just be patient with yourself. Keep working with the skills that you have. You could rewatch this video. It's going to be very helpful. I put a shit ton of information in this one, guys. I don't even know. You can watch this 20 times probably and still find new things. So, and you can go back through the releasing that we did in this video. I'm going to post a link to it. So highly recommend you revisit it, go through it again.
There's one specific thing. I don't know if this is something you can help me with. There's she used people, and she brought people into and out of my life because at her convenience. And one of these guys is actually at a running group that I started going to. I'm going to right now. I don't know if he's going to be there or not, but he was there last week. And I'm like, I really, like, my impulse is I want to, like, kick his ass, but he was also being used by her. But I still don't like him. So I'm kind of wondering if I need to let that go, or I know beat his ass is probably not the right answer, but I'm really having some troubles with this because I'm running with this group in a month of training with them to go out of town on a relay race, 200 miles. And I'm going to the group, and this guy may or may not be there, and it's kind of triggering me. And in the back of my head, I feel like I want to let it go, but damn, it's right now I don't know if I can. And I guess I just ignored the guy last time, but everybody looked at me like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You look pissed off the whole time. So I have a little conflict with this.
Let me give you a quick and simple process, Brian, that you can use, that every one of you guys can use. This one is very good. It's sort of based in holistic releasing. And you're just going to go back and forth from one focus point to the other, to the other, to the other, and you're just going to keep shifting your focus and your awareness from one to the other. And that's all you have to do, okay? And you got to ask yourself these questions while you're doing it. So focus on the feeling and feel it. You know, don't have to focus on it. Just become aware of the feeling and whatever comes to mind, and just ask yourself and be honest and let yourself do it. Can you allow yourself to hate him as much as you do, or to be as angry at him as you are? Can you allow that just for now?
Yeah, I'm headed that way right now, and I would love to. I mean, if no consequences were at hand, I would love to just push him to the ground and beat his fucking ass. I'll just be honest.
Okay, that's totally fine. So just yes or no, just so you know, we don't need to get into a story at all. Just stay with
yes.
the feeling. Stay with the feeling. You know, yes, I can hate that motherfucker as much as I do right now. Now, could you also love yourself enough to allow him to be who he is? Because you're punishing yourself. You're making yourself sick. And that's not very self-loving.
No.
So could you allow yourself to hate him as much as you do anyway, just for now?
I'd say yes, but
Yeah, just let it. Whatever's there, you don't need to add any hate to it. Just whatever's there, just let it be. And then again, could you allow yourself to love yourself enough to release yourself of that hate?
probably good.
And did you let yourself feel the anger that you feel for him?
Yeah, I did. Very much.
Really give yourself permission with no guilt or shame or anything whatsoever, but you can feel that anger, hatred, resentment, resistance, whatever it is. And then just for fun, could you love yourself enough to let all of that go?
Yeah, I think I could. Certainly trying to love myself enough to do that.
Well, your energy's starting to shift.
Yeah.
So let yourself feel the anger again. Allow it to even feel like it wants to express. Feel its core. Feel the very center of it. Where is it coming from? What is its source? See if you can feel the very depth of it. Where is its source?
I know it's, I know it's,
And then could you love yourself just enough to create some space around that pain?
yes.
Good. That one felt good.
I know. It's very triggering to see this guy.
Yeah, but that's fine. There's a lot of emotion under there. So, but what you're doing, man, is you're opening the door and you're letting it flow. So it doesn't need to stop, you know, but you can do this practice and shift back and forth so that it puts you in touch with your own heart energy, and it allows this door to remain open, because that's the problem is the door stays shut. We're afraid if we open the door, we're going to do something that we're going to regret and get ourselves into trouble or whatever. You know, we don't want that. And like you even said, this guy he was rooked into this thing also. It's not 100% his fault by any means. And so we can let that door stay open, let those feelings pass through. Take it back to the heart. Do I love myself enough to free myself of this anger and hatred? Or do I not? Do I value my anger towards this person more than I value my own love for myself and for my future? Yeah. Because if you're holding on to anger, that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying to your subconscious, is that I value this anger more than I value my own peace of mind.
Yeah, I got it. I don't. I don't like him having this control over me.
Yeah,
I like
the power back.
I like this group, and I don't want to stop going. That's actually what I did for many months. I didn't run or race or anything because I don't want to see any of these people. And I don't want to do that anymore.
I think you got this, man. I think you got this. It's just, it'd probably still be a little bit triggering, but it's probably going to help you to work through the stuff even quicker. The fact that you're putting yourself in the fire and willing to face it, and you trust yourself enough to do this, I think you can handle it.
Just be around the guy and love myself enough to not let him trigger me.
Yeah, it was not even...
Whatever he wants to do, he wants to do. It's not like I have to talk to him and be best friends with him or anything.
Right. Yes.
Avoid him. That's what I've been doing.
Until you feel clear and neutral about him. And then it won't matter. He's there or not. You might even become friends. Who the fuck knows? But get yourself to the point of neutrality.
And honestly, under different circumstances, we probably would have. No shot. I mean, I'm generally nice. I like trail runners, and we all run. We're generally friends. So honestly, under different circumstances, we probably could have. Not that I want to be, but under different circumstances.
Yeah. Well, let the different circumstances, first of all, be ones that are within your control, which is, getting free, getting to neutrality. Like you said, you don't have to love him. You don't have to be his best friend. Just get neutral.
I get neutral, man. I can do that. This is going to
help you. This process we just did is going to be tremendous for you, man. It already worked a lot, so keep working with it, okay?
Yeah. I will.
All right, Brian.
Thank
Good man. It's good to meet you, man. And for all you guys, appreciate you showing up. And I look forward to seeing you, meeting you in person one day, or seeing you up on another call.
Yeah, I was on a call last night with Ed. He told me I should talk to you, so I made it a point to talk to you today. So
Awesome.
glad I did. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Got it, brother. All right, guys. Hey, have a fantastic night, man. And all you guys.
Sure,
Much love.
Good night.
Anxiety destroyer, charging